What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? This is the Dollar Hour. Happy Thursday. It's your boy, Deonte Burden, a.k.a. Mr. Short Dollar himself. Today, I'm streaming live from my house. I had some extended meeting appointments at the VA today, so I'm not going to be at Misfits studio this evening, but we got a live show. And I want to welcome everybody on to the show tonight. We'll be discussing how writing everything off in your taxes will get your loan denied. How writing everything off in your taxes will get your loan denied. I know everybody sees, views videos online all the time in regards to if you get your LLC, you can write off this, you can write off that, all these kind of things. You get these different tax savings, different tax deductions and credit that you can get credit for. And you're never given the actual probably, I don't know the downside, but the reality side of that, because at the end of the day, you can easily be in a situation where you're self-employed, or you have a job in the business where you're making $100,000 a year, but you got this business sitting over here that you wrote all this stuff off, or you can get you this fat refund. It's negative something that you have posted. Then you go get that, try to go get that house, try to go get that car, and they're like, no way in hell, you don't have sufficient of income, and because you were just crazy about writing everything off, now you can't get this home or this car because you can't justify or validate the income that you make. So that's what we're going to discuss tonight. Again, how writing everything off of your taxes will get your loan denied. Before we get started, I know we're working remote, but I want to say what's up to my awesome producer, DJ Lab and Slick 316. What's up, Lab and Reek? Yeah, I said Reek just came in on the Instagram. Right now, guys, get these damn cameras together. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. The main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel, where we have over 700 videos covering personal finance, business, entrepreneurship, and investing. We have videos covering business operations, business management, and business. Oh, Lord, I'm about to just have a damn brain cramp. We have a grants playlist with over 150 grant opportunities. So, as always, guys, no matter what platform that you're looking at us on, be it via TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, go to the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel, Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Take advantage of the over 700 videos on the YouTube channel. A lot of great information covering the subjects I just stated. So make sure you go there. And like I said, the subject we're discussing today covers a lot of different platforms, be it personal finance, entrepreneurship, investing, because again, everybody wants to be self, you so many videos about, what's happening, Reed? Hey, what's up, Ron? What's going on? Y'all got to bear with me. I've been yelling at my kids. My voice by damn gone right now, so please forgive me if I sound a little cracked up in the voice. But I know you guys see all the time videos where people, hey, these different deductions will allow you to have this and that, and people go crazy with it. So you see a lot of times people will get an LLC or have this mostly a fictitious bid and stuff, but they use it as a vessel to write certain things off that they may have spent that weren't necessarily things that are write-offs or deductibles normally, but they could do it under the guise of actual business. And that's all well and dandy because, a lot of times it gives people the opportunity to acquire refunds and things of that nature. And that's never a problem until certain things happen, like you want to purchase a home, you want to get some kind of additional financing, you want to get a car, and poof, we can't do it because you don't make enough money. And you make enough money. But we're going to have a discussion tonight because, again, I want people to understand that side of it because a lot of times people give you blind advice or holistic advice, but they don't never tell you the ins and outs. If you do this, this can happen. Do that, that can happen. So I want to share that with you guys. If you guys don't know me, again, I am Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar. I am an accountant by profession. I've had my own accounting and tax business for over 22 years. We just had our 22nd tax season come to an end a week ago. And your boy been pretty much a coma ever since then, trying to recuperate. So I've been on vacation. Now I'll probably be back in the lab next week and everything. But again, I'm streaming live from the house. Won't be at Misfits Studio, but my family, they at Misfits Radio, they still online with me and stuff. Had a good time at the VA. Shouts out to the VA. Had one of my little checkups and everything like that. You see the car still. Not only does it look good, the thing runs good. So everything good to go with your boy. So I felt pretty good about that. But again, man, the subject we want to talk about today is real exciting. Before I get started, is there anything I need to rehash from the previous week? No. Again, big shout out to everybody that return customers that we had. We have a few hundred customers that we've acquired over the past couple of years. So anybody that came to us this past tax season or still, should be coming down the pike. I want to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, I really love and appreciate you guys for all the love and support you've been giving us for the past 22 years. It was a pretty good year, and your boy definitely rested and had a good time. So just want to tell you guys again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate everything that you did for this past tax season. So with that said, we're going into what tonight's show is about, in regards to writing everything off in your taxes. We'll get your loan denied. Okay. Again, I can go right now, do a Google search, go on YouTube where, you have people. And guys, I don't have to call in set up. I could put that on there, but they're going to knock everybody off on the Instagram. I don't know if I got everything integrated right now. I don't know if I have it integrated, but it may be set up on here. For the call-in number, I think I do have the call-in set up where let me see the call-in number. And the call-in number is 678-961-3176. 678-961-3176. Let me see if I can put that on the end for that right quick. So, I know it's going to act funky with the Instagram if I do it. Let me see. 678-961-3176. And we're going to pin that. And we go with that. I'll put it in the chat, call in. There we go. All right, guys. Again, the call-in number 678-961-3176. And trying to get all that together. But guys, again, I can do a Google search in regards to everybody looking up different ways to write certain things off, business tax deductions, business write-offs, and people go crazy about it. Look, they see it online. Hey, I can get this. I got this LLC. I can write all this stuff off. You've seen the videos we talked about. You see these damn celebrities that go on there, and they'll state how you can get this kind of vehicle, you can write this kind of stuff off and get all these credits back and stuff like that. The unfortunate part about it is that, and I've talked about this a lot of times, people equate celebrity and people having a certain amount of money to intelligence. And a lot of times people, because we see that they have success and we think they're celebrities and they're on TV, a lot. We think they know what they're damn talking about, and we don't question them or even give them the same kind of scrutiny that you would give somebody that's proper credentialed or certified to give you proper advice. And that most time because those folks are just talking. They ain't selling you now. They're just talking. But because we see them all the time, we think that, hey, they're successful. They got money. They're smarter than everybody else. And that's usually the downfall of a lot of people. But what happens a lot when you do just say you look up the Google searches about tax write-offs or tax deductions, things like that, you see all these different things you can write off, just as far as uniforms and supplies and stuff like that. And legitimate write-offs, they're legitimate write-offs. But the thought process with everybody doing it is not that people doing it a lot of times just in the actual cycle of it being something during the business. It's more so to kind of like maybe, catch y'all to lower your taxable income, to be able to put you in a position where you can get a bigger tax refund, things like that. The downside about all that coming up is that people don't necessarily look at, what any kind of life acquisitions that they may need to make, any kind of life repairs and things like that. And we'll go into that a little bit later in the show. And those particular things, like just say purchasing your home, refinancing, buying, a car or something like that, even a personal loan, even just say you need to get certain things taken care of for your children or family, friends and stuff. A lot of that stuff just shit. It can't happen because in actuality, you may make one certain amount. What's going on, Mama? See, my mama done came in. Gotta watch my cursing. Mom, watch my damn cursing. My mom done came in. Hey, Mom, thanks for tuning in. But in reality, again, you may have, maybe making $50,000, but on paper, and when we look at what's on paper is what was submitted to the IRS with your tax return. That may say you make only $25,000, but see, that allow you to qualify for earned income, your tax refund. You went from owing maybe $1,000. Now you get a tax refund $4,000 or $5,000. Everybody happy. We going shopping. We planning cruises, all that kind of crazy shit. And what happens is, by that summer, we got, we made money. We got our tax refund. Now we're ready to go to phase 2. We want to go on it. We're looking to move and everything. You call the lender, and they get all your paperwork, run your credit cool and everything. And then they say, they like, we can't do this, man. You ain't making enough money. Like, what do you mean? I know I made X amount. Like, no, but they requested the actual tax, actual tax return from the IRS that came back. No, you're not making that kind of money. And you just, well, how? And you didn't really know the impact that you writing all these things off in your tax return. And I don't want to use the word negative, but it's just an impact. Because at the end of the day, everybody got different thought process of what they're trying to do. Some people, it's not a big damn deal. But again, when we start looking at, you want to look at make certain acquisitions, i.e. house, i.e. car, i.e. loan. You want to do some repairs and stuff like that. A lot of stuff is based on, what you're making and also your credit history. So when you look at certain things, again, this is the Dollar Hour. I am Deonte Burden, a.k.a. Mr. Short Dollar himself. Stream live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. Remember, guys, whatever platform you're looking at, remember the main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel. Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel. Go there. Over 700 videos, a lot of great information covering personal finance, business, entrepreneurship, and investing. Again, we talking about tonight how writing everything off your taxes will get your loan denied. When we start looking at basic loans, you look at this, loan, personal, home, car. Usually from, you got two different loans we look at, right? From a basic standpoint, guys, you just run down on a personal loan. Lenders look at typically two things, that being your income and your credit history. Again, your income, your credit history. Your credit history that, is in a summarization, looking at the credit score, which is based off, the length of your credit, the payment history, utilization, things like that, right? So, in a nutshell, they're looking at your credit and they're looking at your income, right? That's from a personal side. On a business side, they're looking at 5 factors. They look at the sorry, I got my little note spread out around here. On the business side, they're looking at 5 factors, which, for those first 2, still the same thing, that being your credit, income, but they're looking at the industry, they're looking at your experience, and looking at what kind of collateral you have to you can put up just in case the amount of the loan or how rich the other factors are. Okay, again, with a business loan, they're looking at the income, the credit, the industry, experience, and potential collateral that they may need from you guys. So again, with the person being credit and income, usually one of them 2 off, the loan will be denied. With the business side, where you're looking at the credit, the income, the industry, the experience, and the collateral, usually if two of those are off, the loan will get denied. Okay. A lot of times you see these videos that tell you what you can do. You can call these particular places and get these particular loans. What's not given to you is a lot of times is actually what you do as far as acquiring the loan, once you get the loan, and also paying the loans back. Guys, you got to understand, it's one thing to get access to capital. It's another thing to be utilizing capital in the correct manner. And that's the thing about it. A lot of times, people just figured out, hey, man, I need this money. I got this money. But, we have tons of videos on the YouTube channel where we discuss, return on equity and return on investments. Especially, if you buy on that 5%, you got to make sure that you making money that's going to be higher than 5%. Wherever the return on that investment, their ROI is going to be higher than 5%. If you get a loan at $100,000 and you borrowing at 5%, the return, whatever you use that money, it has to have a higher return on investment than 5%. And if I'm talking Chinese or Arabic to you, you know what the hell I'm doing. You need to sit down with some damn body that can explain that shit to you and break it down before you start going haywire trying to borrow money. Because far too often people are doing that, borrowing money and not understanding the impact of, not putting the money in the proper channel that can bring them a higher return than what they cost to borrow. Okay, so just again, if what I just said, I lost you on that like that, on anything that I just said in return to, you definitely need to find you somebody, i.e. some kind of consultant, some kind of accountant with a lawyer. Trust me, that $400-500, whatever you spend, that to have that damn hour, 2-hour conversation to talk to them is well worth it in the grand scheme of things. Then you get yourself $20, $30, $40, $100,000 in damn debt, and you pull that out of know. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we got a man, big, I can't call you that, lady, big B420. And the B ain't for butterfly. I want return in my investment. And we all do, young lady. You gotta do something about that screen name, Big B. Big beef, Lord have mercy. I understand you want that return on your investment. But again, like I said, the whole math is still math. When we start looking at those returns and investments, remember the cost of the loan. Remember the rate that you're borrowing at. You have to yield some kind of action that's going to bring you higher than that cost of borrowing. I mean, that's I don't want to sit there and say that, that should make sense to most people, but mathematically it lose a lot of folks. That's my word when we start going into that. But that's why it's so important to talk to the proper people on the front end, not necessarily that I sold a lot of chickens or I painted a lot of houses. You got to make sure the math work, right? We got to make sure that, because just because we busy don't mean we're making profits. It's one thing, I can have you just moving and moving and moving and moving. But after the end of the day, when all the math done, that don't mean it's yielding you, a proper return on investment. You just busy, right? So understand that very clearly. And we'll talk. We got tons of videos on the YouTube channel where we talk about return on investment, return on equity, and things like that. How to read, just read terms and things like that to find that out. I have tons of videos on the YouTube channel. So again, go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube where I break that stuff down. Hey, my man, what they say? Paper Star 22 High. What's going on? Now, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, we're talking about how writing everything off of your taxes will get your loan denied. What I just discussed in regards to two main factors with loans, again, from the personal side and the business side. And typically, like I said, those two things, one of those two on the personal is off, is denied. And if 2 of the 5 on the business side is off, then it's denied. Okay, that's typically how that goes and stuff. And guys, again, I'm going to count it by profession. And most of the time when you talk, and I'm not saying that people who aren't accountants and attorneys or whatever, and they don't know what they're talking about. But I will say this, guys, when you talk to certain people or you listen to certain people giving you advice, it does make a difference when some people credential, only because they got some kind of recourse. Like if I lie, it can affect me if I got enough things tied up. So if I'm putting out bad information, there's a recourse for that for me. If some people, they got nothing to lose but the damn YouTube channel, it's a little different. So I just want y'all to kind of keep that in mind. Lawyer do something wrong, you can call the bar association. Doctor do something wrong, call the medical association. That's the thing about it. You can report me to the IRS if I'm giving out wrong tax. There are things you can do, for if a person is a professional, we're doing it. Somebody that's not, like I said, I'm not saying they don't know what they're talking about, but just kind of keep that in mind. They can just say something to you, it's no big deal, right? But again, we're talking about just writing everything off, how they can get your loan denied. You guys, like we said, what's the calling number? 678-961-3176, 678-961-3176. Um, Another thing, one big factor, guys, and I want you guys to take consideration. We start looking at that debt to income ratio, and I know people have heard it before, especially if you've already got your car, bought a vehicle, especially if you're self-employed. Just looking at that DTI number, and pretty much what your debt to income is the proportion of your monthly debt payments to your monthly income. Again, debt to income ratio, is your proportion of monthly debt payments to your monthly income. Anything just came in. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at all these different things at once. I ain't in there with Lab. Lab have a lot of stuff covered for me. I miss you, brother. So I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at everything at the same time. So y'all please bear with me. But again, when you're looking at that, and the way that number is calculated, I said the debt income ratio. So which is again the proportion of your monthly debt payments divided in proportion to your monthly income, right? So I don't think what that's calculated is your monthly debt payments divided by your monthly income. So they just looking at it in a nutshell is, for the amount of money that you're making each month, how successful are you? How much is that taking up of your monthly payments, right? You're making $5,000 and you got $5,000 in debt. That means you're at 100%. I mean, you really can't, what can you afford? Because all your money that's coming in is going out. So they just have a barometer where they're looking at, okay, if we give you this particular money, how successful would you be in relation to how much money you're already putting out? And anything you learn 43%, is okay, right? That's kind of like industry rule of thumb, 43%. Now DTI, that DTI and that credit and that credit history, mainly what a lot of time they look at. Okay, they want to see a proportion of that. A lot of time, I'm pretty sure you guys, have you ever like rented a property, an apartment, something like that, they may look at you 3 times. If you want to rent, your income got to be 3 times the rent, something like that. I just want to make sure in proportion with your income is doing that. So a lot of times, guys, when you have written off these particular things, on your tax returns, understand. They'll look at your W-2. They look at the W-2 that you're providing, which is stated right there. But if you turn around and start filling out that Schedule C, or you got this business income coming in, now we're going into a whole different world. Because again, now they're looking at that money and they're saying, hey, man, I see what you got at your job, but you done lost about $20,000 over here. You didn't think nothing of it because you wouldn't, you weren't schooled and you didn't think, the actual impact. You figured, this is just a little side thing I got over here. I use that to write off stuff on taxes and get a nice little refund, or make sure I don't owe Uncle Sam, even if you just zeroing out. But my job, I'm making good money over here, my job, right? But at the end of the day, they looking at all of that, right? Because once they pull the tax return, they pull that 4506T and request your tax return. That's what they're going to go off of, right? Because lenders, they're not going to look at, they can take, you have places. I'm pretty sure you guys, if you're looking at like a finance channel like this, you've probably seen places where they don't need your taxes. They don't need to pull your credit and all that kind of stuff. Those places do exist. But I'm telling you about those places. The cost is out of this damn world. Your rate will be so damn high. It'll be uncomfortable. That girl, Hope 18. What's going on, lady? How you doing? I appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, those places do exist. They do have places that do not have to pull your credit. You do not have to show income, but mathematically, it would not be beneficial to you, right? If you're in a funky spot, you ain't got no other choices and stuff like that. I understand, and I would understand if somebody that's in that position that want to use those products, they're savvy enough to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, and how much they're gonna cost. So I would assume that you know what the hell you're doing. When you make, when you're in a desperate situation, you make desperate moves, all going to be unbeneficial to you in the grand scheme of things. I want y'all to be very careful, because that goes back a lot of time what I was just saying, and with these people putting out these videos of telling you, hey, you can get this credit, you don't need this, and pull that credit. These folks, they don't never talk about rates and terms, which is, the heart and soul of every damn loan. If the rate is high as hell and the terms are real funky for you, it's not spread over years. It's 90 days or whatever. It's ballooning up. Who the hell want to get into that? Well, for the most part, you borrow money because you don't have any damn money. So if you turn around and now you sitting there borrowing the damn loan at this highest rate, and normally if everything, the ducks in a row, you got a low rate, good terms, you may be paying $500 a month over a 10-year period. But you want to go to, Bookshot Johnny, get his high ass rate, going to get this janky loan. Next thing you know, you're paying, $3,000 a month over 6 months. Just doing that. And they're out there. And a lot of times you don't know. And you gotta understand, ignorance is not an excuse. Once you sign the paper, that's it. And now you done got in a deeper hole. Your credit is worse off. You stressed by this other kind of money. And that's what we talked about the show at the beginning of the year. Why you keep starting over? Because sometimes we be so impatient about things. When we're younger, we think we ain't got enough. When we're young, we think something gonna take too long. Then as we get older, we feel like we ain't got enough time. You might be right on both of them, but at the end of the day, it's still gonna come back and bite you in the butt. So let's do it right the first time, right? So when we start looking at, you want the loan, your income there, your credit score is fine, you feeling pretty good. You're feeling pretty good. You at work, you're in the break room, you telling everybody, man, I'm gonna go get this car, everything straight. I got that promotion, everything good, credit score, shit, I'm over 700, everything straight. Walk down to the dealership, you find the car, they test drive, you looking good. Your girlfriend feeling good, everybody looking, she texting her friend, calling, yeah, good, you finna get this Range Rover, everything straight. We just did a text. She posting before you sign the paper. You get in there with the finance person, they doing their thing, tearing that calculator up. Next thing you know, they looked at it. You're like, everything cool? They're like, yeah. Because they need their damn commission. They walk out the office. They go look at the finance director. They point at you. He do this and come back in. Y'all know this story. He come back in the room with you. Say, hey, man, you think you can put a deposit or something like that? And, hey, we can't approve this, right? And you trying to figure out what the hell going on. And then, like I told you before, they start breaking it down. Listen, man, we got this information, man. You ain't really making this kind of money. Like, nah, what happened? They seeing this tax return. They got all this information that they looking at it. Man, you ain't got sufficient income to do this. It don't work. You same thing, you go get your for your home mortgage. You try to do the same thing. You feeling good. You done find a house. You and the kids out there in the yard. You see it going because everything on the surface is fine. But The dead has arisen. Ooh. Oh, hey, y'all forgive me for that. I had a little technical difficulty. I'm an accountant. I ain't an IT person. So, what's going on, Sandra? Good to see you. I apologize about that. I have, as you can see, I ain't in the damn the studio today, so I'm sorry about that. Now, Reek, the Wi-Fi went out on this end. I was just trying to fix everything. I'm sorry about that. Again, guys, you go to that same situation where you try and get that mortgage, and saying that you've all, they're going to pull your income. They're going to pull, what's reported to the IRS, and you have to make sure that all your ducks in a row with that. Again, we're talking about how writing everything off your tax will get your loan denied, and what you are making and what's on paper is two different things. Excuse me, because like I said, you're confident that you made enough money to qualify for these particular products. Confident, it. At the end of the day, you can get these particular things. Everything's there. You can get it. But the issue has come up like, look, man, what reported on that return, that's what they have to go by. And far too often, people get caught up in that particular situation. Well, at the end of the day, that's what they have to go for. And lenders are always going to look at what's filed with the IRS because, again, that's it. That they know that's reported and everything goes down. And you have to have the money. You had the money, you don't report it, and you could be easily in a situation where you're losing out. And you want to make sure it's not a dire situation. Well, okay, now your car done broke down. Now you got to get a new car because you've been doing these particular things over the past year. So now everything come back biting you in the butt. We don't want to necessarily look at that. And the funky thing that a lot of people have to understand is that, especially when you're self-employed, guys, they go by, from a mortgage perspective, they got off 2 years of the income on your tax return. Again, that's the average of 2 years of your tax return. So when they look at line 31 on your Schedule C, that net profit on your profit and loss statement, if that number is negative, you SOL, right? If that number, even with that number being said, we're talking about you want to try to get some kind of approval on a loan. Keep in mind with these guys, if they're looking at that line 31 on your Schedule C, that's your net profit, net income on that form. If you divide that number by 24, that's the average of 2 months, right? So they're looking at that. That's the average you made. They're looking at for self-employed income. So you guys are actually looking to get a mortgage and things like that. That's what you need. That's what they're looking at. That's your monthly income. Again, when you look at that Schedule C, guys, you look at the Schedule C with your tax return. Line 31, that's your net income. They're looking at that, the average of that number over a 2-year period when you're looking to get your mortgage. Do all lenders look at that? For the most part, yeah. Do they have lenders that don't look at that may look at bank statements? Absolutely. But like I say again, keep in mind, when you start going down the non-traditional route with doing stuff, it's going to be a damn non-traditional rate. And it's going to be high. It's not going to be advantageous for you, okay? A lot of those products like that they're not meant for people. They're meant for, investors and things like that. So they're not meant for, the average person to actually go looking to go get a loan or to do certain things. We've got a question right here. What's up, Misty? Some people write off too much instead of showing profits, right? Correct. And like I say again, and it's all about what you're looking at, because, to the question that was asked, some people write off too much instead of showing profits. And that's the whole point of we talking about is when you have been doing it, you've been writing off everything and you lower that taxable income, what are you showing as your income? Just say if you want to actually get pre-approval for certain items. You got to be very, very mindful of that, okay? Be very, very, very mindful of that. I can't stress that to you guys enough, okay? Because at the end of the day, you want to, you've been working hard. You want certain things in life. You want to purchase that home, get that car, and stuff like that. You don't want you trying to, I wouldn't say get over, but hey, you trying to just not have to have a tax liability, or you want to acquire a bigger refund. You don't want that to be the detriment of you being able to acquire those things. Because you work hard, you should get that car, you should get that house, should get that boat, you should get approved for that certain kind of loan if you want to do certain things. And you don't want any decisions you made to kind of negatively impact that. So that's why I want to have that discussion with you guys tonight, because again, there are no shortages whatsoever of videos online where people will give you advice and tell you how to write certain things off. and what you can write off and what's tax deductible and all this other kind of stuff. And people go damn haywire with their businesses and they writing this stuff off. And like I say again, once they want to go down that road to purchase certain things, now everybody trying to figure it out. Then you got to come to a person like me. We got to charge the hell out you because we got to amend this return, bring in all this income that you know that you legitimately made, that you didn't want to report. You just want to write all this stuff off. And then the problem come up with that is what? Now, we got this big-ass damn tax bill with IRS. And now the underwriter, if you guys are not familiar with the loan process, you have your sorry about that, TikTok. Please forgive me. You have, your loan processes and everything, but then when everything's put together and it's given to the underwriter who kind of, make sure the I's dotted and all the T's across, that person will actually get a yay or nay to, the lender say, hey, the loan is approved or not. So when they go through all this stuff, they're like, hey, shit, they fixed the return, but they got to bill with the IRS. How they going to pay that? And that going against that whole DTI, shit, that done changed everything with that. So that's why it's very, very important, guys. You make sure you're doing everything as great as possible. Excuse me. And also, guys, you want to make sure you're talking to the right people to put you in the right situation. Instead of, like I said, I appreciate everybody tuning into our channel. We're doing this 6-7 years. I appreciate everybody tunes into the channel. I love all the support and everything, but I have no problem whatsoever if you get a second, third, fourth damn opinion on any damn thing I say. Because typically, for the most part, if I open my damn mouth and say something, I figured it out. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to say that. I don't like being wrong, so usually I try to make sure I say the right thing. I have no problem saying I don't know. I have no problem saying I figured out and I find out for y'all. But when you get a lot of these people saying, certain things, you need to be very damn careful. Like I said, especially if they don't have any kind of credential background that you can go back and, there's no recourse on them. If they just said something, they just said something to you. They ain't broke no laws. They just said what they thought. But typically, if you deal with a professional that has some kind of recourse, they got to be careful. I'll be honest with you. I just can't say any damn thing because, again, it can go back to Deonte Burden and all of the kind of stuff can go out. So if it can go haywire for me. And I love making my money. So it's very important that you make sure that you can talk to the right people. Like I said, don't let a couple $100 somebody will charge you to talk be a hindrance for you, losing everything you got, starting over, or wasting a whole lot more money in the grand scheme of things. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. People, I know we in a day and age where we got all kind of information at our fingertips and we can go to YouTube University and Google University and because they look good and they look smart and, they have a lot of things on their video, we think they're right, but that ain't usually the case. I would say sometimes you might can go on LinkedIn and kind of just see, okay, is that person, who they are and kind of that's probably the quickest way you can ease his background check. But a lot of times, if you can't necessarily pull these folks out and they ain't really got the name or something like that, it's kind of funny waters with doing this. I just want y'all to be very, very, very careful about when you go down that road of listening to certain people. Do anybody got any questions or anything like that? Please put in the chat if you got any questions or anything. I think that's kind of threw everything off a second ago with the line. I want to make sure that just in case if I have to go back into this, that's something I need to make sure I got this Wi-Fi thing straightened out. Now I apologize about that, guys. About going out a second ago, boom, right there. I definitely need to make sure I had all this stuff on point. But again, anybody got any questions in regards to just with being self-employed? Getting loans or anything like that, any questions about, just with the whole point of just writing things off. Because again, guys, look, you got me right here. I'm short dollar, I ain't cheap dollar. So, go and ask your questions now. So if you have any questions in regards to just, certain write-offs and everything, because that's what we're talking about, how you just writing everything off. And that's what, I think we promoted a lot. You can write this off, you can get this credit and all these kind of things, right? But the impact that it can have on you in the grand scheme of things. That's what I want to discuss with you guys, because again, I don't think that's spoken about enough in regards to what can happen if certain things are done or certain things are written off in the grand scheme of things. Like I said, guys, usually lenders look at those 2 years of tax returns. I know with me in particular, I'm just share this with in my particular case. there were things, and everything was correct. I was writing things off when I was married and everything. We're doing it. But when I went through a divorce, I had to get a refinance. I had to do a refinance, and we had the typical thing where they give you like a year to write off your refinance, your property into your name. Me and my ex-spouse, both had to do that. But me in particular, just speaking for myself, and this was all legitimate write-offs I'm doing with doing it. But what it was doing, it was lowering my taxable income and the reportable income, right? And so by me doing that, it was showing, just a less amount. It was legitimate. Everything was fine with doing it, but no big deal. But once I went through the divorce, and for me to do the refinance to acquire, get everything put in my name, it had to show more income. So I didn't have to write something that I normally wrote off, or certain things that I did. I just didn't report it, because you don't have to report a write-off. That's just at your discretion. You have to show all your income. But if it's a certain deductions and stuff like that you don't want to take advantage of, by law, you don't have to do that. By law, you have to show your income. Okay. With that said, I didn't report some of the deductions. Now, the problem came up with that is I got this big ass damn tax bill from the IRS. I'm just sharing this in regards to myself, in regards just to write-offs. But I had to do that because, again, you're still looking at self-employed income. But I just told you guys, when you do a refinance or a mortgage, they typically look at, your self-employed realm, they typically look at the average of 2 years in your tax returns, right? That line 31, your Schedule C, right? Again, do they have other products to do that? And we discussed that. Yes, they do. But like I said again, guys, typically those ones that go on stated income and bank statements, the terms are usually aren't the most favorable. Usually for investors, guys who actually need to acquire a loan, roll with a couple months while they rehab and redoing some things to the house, and then they'll try to move it over to a more favorable product where the terms, won't be as high as those, kind of like, you're doing hard money loans and things like that, higher rates, but you just need it for the acquisition. Later on, try to move it, sell it, put it into a cheaper product, but they just need it for the acquisition. But when we start talking about just buying a new house or refi, and I'm just speaking for myself, that was one of them things. Like, I'm just normally writing things off. Wasn't try to disguise anything, but it wasn't necessarily an issue to show a certain amount of money. I'm just doing, taking advantage of regular tax deductions. But with the divorce, and I had to do the refinance, had to, show more income with doing that. So again, thing that kind of got me again, nothing, from doing anything wrong. I had to show this income, and I incurred this this big tax bill from the IRS. And one thing about it too, I had to actually do this for 2 consecutive years to show that. So again, you went from a period. So that was 2 years of showing the income plus 2 years of incurring these tax bills. But normal things I normally write off, again, legitimate write-offs, wasn't a big deal if you're not looking to do anything. But actually to refinance my home, hey man, listen, I got to show all this stuff and everything. And that, that was very, very damn uncomfortable for me. You start writing these damn, damn 6, 7 figure checks to the IRS. You feel some type of way. You feel some type of way about doing it. I know damn well I did. And so that was one of the things, again, as a person that actually knows this stuff, it happened. It wasn't, like I said, again, that was just a normal life occurrence. I don't think everybody go around, going through divorces and stuff, but going through divorces, you may have to maybe even just say you have to go through a bankruptcy, you got to go back and get all this stuff fixed, and you show this money. That would typically, from the write-offs, wouldn't necessarily negatively impacted, but just sometimes when the divorce or the refis and stuff like that, depending on how things got to be set up, certain things got to be showed. So you need to be very mindful of doing it. If you in a situation where you're like, hey, no damn big deal, I ain't finna move no time soon, I ain't married, we good to go. Okay, it may not be no big deal to you, but I would just say this: life, we don't control how life, what hand life deals us. You know what I'm saying? So I can't sit here and tell you that I was I one damn blindsided when my ex-wife had filed to send me them papers. But I went to see and tell that I was damn super ready for it either. Okay, what we got here? Eddie F0. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, brother. Says a no doc refi. And that's the thing about, you can do a no doc refi. Those part, like I said, the no doc refi stated stated refis, they are there. But again, they ain't at the same damn rates. The terms ain't the same as if you use, just traditional banks or traditional lenders. That's why I said those products are there. Those products are there. There are those products out there for people and stuff with doing it. But again, those non-traditional products, the hard money loans, the no docs, stated income, those those products are out there. But mathematically, you got to be realistic if you want to go down that route with doing it, because again, they'll be mainstream products. If the cost was cheaper. So again, that's there. But do you really want to? Again, the money. Let me say this: the money that you will spend with the higher terms and the higher cost of getting a no doc stated loan, the money that you spend with that, I guarantee you, year or two. I mean, hell, even it'll be way more than the money you receive or the money that you feel like you save by writing all that stuff off in your taxes. Trust me with that. Trust me with that. Trust me with that. What we got is I'm getting killed in. What we got, Eddie F. I'm getting killed in taxes. Can no longer write off investment properties. I would say this in every situation is different, and I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we'll just state it again, guys. Excuse me, Eddie F. Zero. He said I'm getting killed in taxes. Can no longer write off investment properties. Excuse me. One thing I would advise you to do, if you haven't done already, find a good tax professional. I ain't talking about Mr. Johnny Tax Prep, but find your good tax professional and an accountant or a tax lawyer, something like that, to help you strategize some kind of way where it can help you negate certain things. Some things you can't avoid. Some things you can't avoid at all, depending on how much you've dispensed or expensed out of certain things and stuff. I was looking at a video today. People were talking about expensing out vehicles they purchased. And it's one thing, and it may be cool that particular year if you write off the whole damn car, but if you're making money on the next year, the year after, you have nothing to kind of cushion that income coming in. And that's why I say sometimes we listen to these damn brainiacs that are giving out tax and business advice to people. It sounds good, but at the end of the day, we all want to feel like we smart. We all want to feel like we special. But if that was just so easy for people to do, wouldn't everybody be doing it? I know everybody ain't, abreast with information and things like that. And everybody got different levels of being go-getters. But sometimes when you hear the too good to be true story, most of the time it is that. Most time it is too damn good to be true. So you got to be very, very, very weary of those particular things, guys. And I can't stress that to you guys enough. But yeah, Eddie, if I would, if you haven't, again, if you've done it on the right way we're doing it, guys, I would advise you to kind of get some kind of team in place. We all smart. And like I said, we got the world at our fingertips now. Google's something else. God knows I use and I stress it out to people all the time. But I also stress you guys, make sure y'all get some damn professionals in place. Because again, I understand, things ain't free. And sometimes people hide and all that kind of stuff. But again, in the grand scheme of things, you'll be helping yourself out a whole lot better if you can turn and get the right people in place to help you get things done. Do anybody else got any questions or anything like that? Right quick. Let me see what we got. Nothing there. Y'all bear with me. And again, guys, I apologize with the short in the system a little while ago. We're gonna try to get through this. Hopefully we don't get no more. We're doing that. Okay, cool. I think that's straight with that. But yeah, a couple things I would advise people to do in regards to the acquiring the loans. If you're self-employed or anything like that, make sure you do some kind of proactive conversations with lenders. I get calls all the time because I do different partnerships with brokers and lenders where they're saying, a lot of people are self-employed because, we write the financial statements, provide those particular things that may need to be presented to a lender from people that are self-employed. Make sure you talk to these folks. And make sure that you have, before your credit start getting pulled and all this other kind of stuff, have those kind of candid conversations to find out what the hell do y'all need to see. What do y'all need to see from me mathematically on paper? Because if you ain't really on that with showing it, because you can look at, again, line 31 on your Schedule C. Now, again, it may vary depending on, like my man Eddie F just said, he has to run a property and stuff, so some of the information comes from the Schedule E when they're going back to your Schedule 1 and stuff like that. It may be a little different in regards to how the income is reported. So that may vary. But my point still is make sure you kind of talk to the lenders, talk to a tax professional, talk to the accountant, talk to somebody who can kind of, make that, if it's not familiar land with you, familiar area or terrain rather, just have some people that can have some conversations with you. And again, I understand, there are certain costs that people may charge, but in the grand scheme of things, you probably save yourself a whole lot of heartache and pain and not wasting, because I see it all the time. I have seen people that have amended their tax returns. They went from owing maybe the IRS, maybe not even that much, even getting a refund, amended it, show their income to get approved for that loan, and they incurred a $10,000 tax bill, sometimes more. And it went back to the underwriter, and the damn loan was denied. And the loan was denied. So you didn't get the damn house you're trying to get, and now you got a $10,000 tax bill with the IRS. It happens all the time. It happens all the time because what happens is people talk to, the actual lender, because they trying to get their commission. I'm not trying to say people got, ulterior motives, they're doing the wrong thing, but they're trying to get their commission. They're trying to get their commission, so they're not going to sting you on a path where, you may not do it or you're scared, because they still want to get their money. I'm not telling you do anything illegal, but you put this kind of stuff, that paperwork in, it blow up in your face, and now I can say again, you done got denied for the loan, now you got this tax bill. 20-some years, man, I can tell you this not happen, and it happens all the time. That's why I say on the front end, try to have as many conversations as possible to find out, it's like, what do you guys need to see? What do you guys need to see? And that's why a lot of times, it's very beneficial to, you get your a decent accountant into it where y'all can have these conversations. Y'all know for the most part, I don't never get to selling, what I do, what I own and stuff like that. I want y'all to, listen to the channel and stuff. If you want to go further, we got the contact information in the description section. But you find somebody that actually can explain this stuff to you in English and you comfortable with, they can tell you, hey, this is right, this is wrong, because I try to be very, very straight up with people. Like, look, man, if you go down this road and you start showing this money and you're on a high risk, you want to make sure that this lender is going to give you this loan. And a lot of times it comes back denied because now you done added some more money to that that debt ratio. And now your DTI done went up. And now you're sitting there like, nah, we can't do it because now your monthly payments, your output is increased and we can't do anything for you. So you want to make sure you can have these conversations with these people prior to. Are they going to lie to you, tell you something? I can't tell you that. But I think it's very, very powerful to know what question to ask and know why you're asking them. Because a lot of times I'm a big proponent in dealing with people and trusting people and having the right relationships with folks. But shit, I'm a huge proponent in knowing what the hell going on. That's the thing about it. We want to trust people, we want to deal with people we can trust. But at the end of the day, man, you want to know, that hey, I whatever you're saying to me, I know if it's legitimate or not. I think the draft done started. Anybody in there know if the Falcons done had a draft pick already? Oh man, I'm just sitting there thinking about the draft and everything. Do we pick ours? But definitely, guys, make sure you do that. And again, it's very important when you start going down these endeavors of actually, want to have your own business and stuff like that. It's cool. I love entrepreneurship. I love being in business. Like I say, guys, I've been in the game over 20 years. I've been in the game over 20 years being a business owner. I know how frightening it is. I know how scary it is. I know how fun, exciting, and all that kind of stuff it is. But at the end of the day, guys, like I said, especially coming to my world, we dealing in finances and money. You want to make sure you got all your ducks in a row. Because just as quick as you making that money coming in, one or two incidents happen, that shit going right out. So you got to make sure you have all the proper things in place when you're dealing with, going down that road or doing it. And we start talking about actually, you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, i.e. buying a house, i.e. buying a car, i.e. getting loans so you can do certain things for yourself and everything like that. You want to make sure that a decision that you, like I said, you don't have to have bad intentions. You don't have to have bad intentions. You're looking to get this big refund or whatever. You just looking, I'm just taking advantage. I just shared the story about myself. These were just legitimate write-offs that I was making. But in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't beneficial to me because, again, I had to do that refinance after my divorce. And so I had to just incur this bill and show all my income, normal things that I've able to deduct. This shit I ain't doing. I got to show all my damn money so I can actually qualify for a loan, right? I had to do that. There was nothing wrong that was done or anything. So, I'm just sharing that with you guys so you understand. Hey, you can quote unquote, know what the hell you damn doing and stuff still happens with doing that. Because again, I didn't have the intentions of I ain't gonna say I had no damn thoughts about not damn divorcing, but I definitely wasn't planning for that to happen. I didn't necessarily know that was gonna be the outcome, with it. And that's why you guys, my other YouTube channel, Change the Lives, to try to stress to people. Now, especially people, we talk a lot about family and things like transitional things in life, like with children, health and divorce and things like that, guys. Stuff like that happen. It ain't about what you want; it's about what the hell y'all can damn agree on. Excuse me. Far too often, people get caught up into what I don't want to do this, and I can give them this, and I can give them that. Excuse me. I don't want nobody to go through it, but if you have been through a divorce, there ain't no damn you having civil and common sense discussions out the window. So I just want to be straight up with everybody in regards to that. Does anybody got any questions in regards to what we're talking about tonight, with the tax write-offs and how that can negatively impact you getting loans or anything like that? I know you guys got questions about it because, like I said, it's a subject that so many people, run to find out what the hell they can write off. I mean, people really, really now, but to find out what they can write off. So, just put in the chat, like I said, call in number. You want to call in 678-961-3176, but you can put in the chat if you got any questions in regard to the subject matter, in regards to, how write-offs or how certain things can affect you getting a loan. And again, guys, that's, it ain't got to be self-employed. It can be you have your main job in addition to this business, so that your job is the anchor. These are just supplements to that. So a lot of times, again, and that's where a lot of funky stuff happens with that, because again, people have the actual W-2 job where they're making decent wages, 50, 60, 70, let's say $70,000 for easy math. But again, because they're making a certain amount of money, they may have a tax liability, or their refund isn't what they normally want to see. They want some of that earned income refund. And because they want to see that, they got this business, they writing every damn thing off. They may not be showing all the money that they made, but they writing every damn thing off because they seen the video. They heard this person talk about it. You can write off this, you can write off that. And that 70,000 has went down to 25,000. And everybody's cool. And now you can't get approved for no loan. You look incompetent on paper, because they're like, why the hell we give you money in any kind of business loan and you can't even damn do what we're going to give you more money to lose? You're showing the astronomical losses. In your mind, that ain't even been a thought process. You just trying not to owe the IRS, or maybe even possibly, get some kind of money back. And I understand. I've been in the game long enough. I've seen it. But I just want you guys to understand it. The other side of doing that. Yeah, you can write these particular things off. Yeah, and it can be legitimate, but it can come back and bite you in the behind. So we want to always be very, very cognizant of that. How any decision we make, what's the other side of it? Be it good, be it bad, or however we want them to determine it. We got to be very, very, very conscious of that. Okay, guys? Anybody got any questions? I know there's going to be people out there just looking to purchase a loan. You may be self-employed, new to the business ranks or anything like that. The floor is open. So feel free. There's no silly questions. You can put it in the chat and everything. Alicia, of course, said looking good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Try my best. Thank my mom and dad too. I think I was it was something I wanted to go over with you guys in regards to this particular thing in particular. I would advise any kind of, if you are looking to do any home purchase, if you're a first-time home buyer, a lot of cities, counties, and states, they have first-time home buyer program seminars that you can sit through. I know a lot of people sit through them because it may be advantageous to them to get the loan or get some kind of down payment assistance. Do it if you're not, with doing it. But again, make sure you talk to some kind of professional in that world where they can give you some kind of advice on it too, because far too often people do miss out on certain things, and it's a lot. I've had a lot of conversation with people over the years. They've actually went through the process. They got their loan, got everything in place, and man, I ain't know about this. I ain't know about that. You mean I got to pay this? Why is that adjusting? Why is my mortgage going up each month? Each year? I mean, that's not what they agreed, but your property value went up, so the property taxes went up. The escrow had a deficit, so the payment went up. You had a big claim because a tree hit your house, and then all that stuff is going up. Now you got to make certain changes, and you didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't. You thought whatever you signed up for on that loan, when you closed on the loan, that was you're gonna pay forever. But because the property value went up, and because you had a claim on your house, the insurance went up. All that stuff changed. So make sure you have a conversation with people prior to the closing. What we got, Alicia. Alicia, forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong. Did you see the new Fed rule about the first time home buyers? Biden's trying to increase first time home buyers, trying to increase. No, I didn't see it. But I'll look it up. When you say the rule, what was the rule for first time home buyers? Let me see if I can see anything. What was the first time home buyer rule that would change? I don't know anything like that. What is it? Biden is what is it got 15? What is the first time home buyers law? Biden today, the Biden Harris administration. What was this? This is in February. The Biden Harris administration announced an action that would save home buyers and homeowners from FHA insured mortgage and average $800 a year, lowering housing costs for estimated $50,000. I'll look into it. I don't want to go through it that way I can know it in and out. So what it is, good credit home buyers to increase higher mortgage fees. Mortgage to increase. I'm gonna look into it. I promise you, I'll look into it. I definitely make note to look into it. I don't want to be the first time I go over it. What I talk about on the air. So it's just, I want to make sure, when I open my mouth, I know what the hell I'm talking about with doing it, but I definitely look into it. But I will say this, guys, there are a lot of programs out there that could be advantageous to people that are first-time home buyers. Even some programs out there, even within just if you're an investor. I've made sure, guys, and I've been landlord hell over almost 20 years now of doing it, definitely at least 15 years. And I would say this is very, very beneficial where you got a good team in place. And I'm always trying to network and find people that I said CNBC. Try to find, the people that can help me and do certain things. So if you have, I would, recommend you get the right people in place to help you with certain things. We got here the same one. I'm gonna look into it. I promise you, Alicia, I'll look into it. I don't want to be reading everything on the air with doing it, but I definitely will look into it, and I appreciate it. Do me one favor. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, Mr. Short Dollar. And I'll look into it. I usually make the videos that I make. Most of the videos will come on the YouTube channel. We do live, like right now, and we have videos on TikTok. Most of the videos that are on TikTok and on Instagram, those are the videos that are under 3 minutes, but the videos that are at some kind of length and everything, they are typically on the YouTube channel. So definitely, even like right now, we're streaming on the YouTube channel. So I make a video on it. More likely gonna hit the YouTube channel before it hits the TikTok and the Instagram. But I'm definitely gonna look into it, and I appreciate you sharing it. But I just want to make sure when I go over it, I know what I'm talking about. Some of the key points: Biden's proposing $15,000 first-time home buyer credit, which could be assessed by the buyer. The FHA could reduce the money. If this was just proposed or the law, and I'm pretty sure, like I just said, that's 21. And I'm thinking they already had it in a law. I'm gonna look into it. And I apologize. I appreciate you bringing it up, but again, I don't like being wrong. So that's why I want to make sure when I get running my damn mouth, I know what the hell I'm talking about with everything. If it's proposed, if it's a law or not. But I will promise you that I will look it up. But in the meantime, please go by the YouTube channel, subscribe, and I definitely, be able to. I put out a video in regard to that because anything that could be advantageous to anyone that's looking to purchase a home, any from financial personal or business financial aspect, we want to make sure we're putting that information out to people to help them out with anything. Does anybody else got any questions in regard to what we talked about tonight? The show tonight we discussed is how writing everything off of your tax will get your loan denied. Just pretty much we had a conversation regarding how a lot of times there's a lot of information pushed on things that you can write off, things that you can, they can lower your taxes, or it can cause you to get a bigger refund, and you can get this and that free. and the impact that it does have on the other side before you're trying to get loan approvals and things like that. Because again, you may legitimately make X amount of dollars and your credit is fine and it will qualify you for certain things. But then when you turn around and start writing all this kind of stuff off, the impact where that and lower your tax, lower your reported income. And now you may have actually made 5, but now you done wrote every damn thing off. What's on paper is 2, and you need at least damn 3 to get that house. And it happens far too often. I want to have that discussion with you guys tonight in regards to that. Let me see. Anybody else come back into the chat or anything? Nobody got any questions or concerns or anything like that for your boy? Let me see. Ain't got nobody here. Let me see. Okay, cool. So no questions. I got the flow open. I'm gonna close everything out soon. There's no question in regards to anything. No question in regards to home loans or anything like that. You know, we're doing it. Taxes. You got your boy here. Okay. Well, look, everybody. I want to tell everybody from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you do, and whatever come across your mind later on, remember go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Again, that's Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. You can Google it or go to YouTube and put it up. If you're on TikTok, go into the bio of my page. You'll see the link to the YouTube channel. You can also do the same thing on Instagram, but I think I take it to the Facebook. But the link will still be there somewhere with doing it. But again, go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube. Everybody, where you're looking at us right now, you should have access to it. But again, if you want something come across your mind later on, feel free to go to the YouTube channel, put your comments or your questions in there. I promise you, I go back and look at all of the questions and stuff and fill them out. Now, if it's a question that's, if I got this at 3%, then you want this for $3,000, how much can I get back? I ain't forgetting none of shit like that. I ain't gonna tell you, like, you know, we ain't finna do that. But if it's a basic question, I do it. And the reason why I won't get any kind of technical questions, number one, theoretically, every situation is gonna be different. And number two, I get paid money to do all that. But if it's just a question, you know, in regards to the subject we're talking about, I promise you, I would answer it for you. But again, you know, just let's keep it professional. Let's keep it, you know, please PG. We're doing everything. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all you guys tuning in. And I had a lot of fun with doing this. Make sure before we start signing off, we got everything. So I guess we got all the questions answered. But again, guys, anything run across your mind later on, feel free to go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube and ask a question. I appreciate everybody tuning in where we had discussion tonight. We'll discuss how writing everything on your tax will cause your loan to get denied. I'll be back in the lab next week at Misfits Radio, Misfits TV. In the meantime, make sure, guys, you Google and look up Misfits TV or Misfits Radio. We got a lot of awesome shows on the channel. We'll cover, you know, gospel shows, we got comedy shows, we got music shows, everything on Misfits Radio, Misfits TV. I miss my family up there. But I'll be back out there with Lab and Read next week. Talk with you guys soon. Love you. Be safe. And have a great weekend. Oh, real quick, let me put this in here. Guys, you know I'm a proud member of the 100 Black Men of South Metro. We have an annual celebration of excellence dinner this weekend. So if you haven't, let me put this in here. Let me give me 1 second, put this in. And if you haven't, please, if you can Google 100 Black Men of South Metro. If you want to donate anything to the organization, we were the oldest and longest black male organization where we do a lot of mentorship. Our whole organization is based on mentorship. We have a great impact and a great foothold on mentoring young men, and we have some young ladies, especially in the collegiate arm of our organization, where we do mentorship in the community. We're doing it, but if you can go to the website, and we have the donate button. Please feel free to donate to the 100 Black Men of South Metro. We have our annual gala this weekend. It's going to be an awesome opportunity, an awesome showing rather. We're doing it. That's where we celebrate the young men in our organization. But definitely, guys, if you want to make any kind of donations to the 100 Black Men of South Metro, please do that for us and stuff. The celebration excellence is this weekend. I think we got a sold out event for that, but definitely if you want to go by there, I really would appreciate anyone going by there. Also, big shout out to my second son, Deonte Jr. We call him better known as PJ. He's getting inducted into the Collegiate 100 at Georgia Southern University this Sunday. So big shout out to PJ and his endeavors of joining the Collegiate 100. That's our collegiate arm of the 100 Black Men organization. But he's getting inducted into the collegiate arm. So big shout out to PJ, man. I love you, brother. But yeah, he's doing that, man. So big shouts out to him. That'll be Sunday. So I'm leaving the event on we're having Saturday evening, then going down to Statesboro Sunday, celebrate that with PJ. So I'm super proud of my son for doing that and putting his link into the chat, doing it. But yeah, if you can go to 100 Black Men, you can Google one, and it's 100southmetro.org. That is the email address, the web address, 100southmetro.org. But if you Google 100 Black Men of South Metro Atlanta, it'll pop up. And I know it's a lot, and I apologize, but I appreciate $1, $5, 50 cents. Don't damn matter if you can do that, because again, all the money goes back to those boys. And we try to make a positive impact in the community. The chat has been around 31 years, and we've done a lot of great work. You can Google it. You see all the information on the YouTube channel. I mean, the web page for that. But like I said, we have an annual celebration of excellence program this weekend. So again, please, if you can support us, I appreciate it. Again, big shout out to PJ. And again, guys, I want to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, I think we almost said 25,000 followers on TikTok. And I think we almost had 26, or we just made 26,000 on YouTube, the YouTube channel, with Mr. Short Dollar. So man, hell, I appreciate all you guys, all the love, supporting. And I have a big passion of sharing information, helping entrepreneurs and stuff like that, because I'm in the position that I am right now because I had OGs that gave me game, that helped me out over the years and do that. And that's why we've been successful in business and all the other and everything else that we've been able to do, because I always put helping other people first, because that's what helped me. Because people helped me that didn't have to help me, and they didn't have an ulterior motives and stuff like that. I done got burned over the years with helping people and even trying to receive help. But for the most part, the success I've had and the impact I've had, the positive amount for helping people has totally outshined it. And I would encourage people to do the same thing. You'll feel a lot better about it, and I think you'll be very, very surprised at the impact you can have from helping people. So take care of yourself, guys. See you next week. We'll change the lives next week. And again, I'll be back in the studio with everything. But again, love you guys. Appreciate all of the support, and I will talk with you soon.